Turned up to this one. Customer said that the radiator is cold at the top of the stairs. This isn't the first time I've been here. Before I came and freed up the pin and changed the head, but it's gone again. So they said enough's enough, let's change the valve. It's a Worcester Bosch 15RI on a tank fed system, which we know can be a nightmare to change. So I'm going to grab the Honeywell valve. Obviously I keep it as van stock. I'm going to prep the area with my waterproof mat. Going to get my bucket and my tubs out and my bung kit. Got to venture off into the loft. We're going to see one big tank, one little tank. So we want the little tank today. That's going to be our central heating tank. So we're going to pop the lid off. It's quite tricky to do one-handed. So I'm going to put my 22mm speed fit cap end over the expansion, make sure it's on properly, give it a twist. You're going to get wet if you don't. Then have a quick look to see where the tank feed comes off the bottom, because you don't want to put your hand in that dirty water and be feeling around like Gandalf's pocket. Then you're going to get your black bung, you're going to pop it in the inlet. So this creates the airtight vacuum and obviously stops the water coming out the tank. The science behind bunging a system is pretty much like when you dip a straw in some water, squeeze the end and lift it out, it holds the water inside. And that's what we're going to do instead of draining the system. Benefits are you're going to minimise airlocks and just save time. Once you're happy that's capped and the bung's in tight, we're going to have a look for any auto air vents. You can't bung with an auto air vent because it will let the air in, and there's one hidden in here. Normally you can just shut the cap off, but the cap's missing, obviously. But don't worry, you don't need to reach for the drain hose yet. I've got a little trick. Use some non-setting jointing compound, or blue tack if you've got any. But you're going to roll up a little ball, and then you're just going to pop it over the air inlet. This is going to act exactly the same as it would if you shut the cap off. But you didn't see that little trick coming. Anyway, back to what we're here for. It's easier to put the compound on the valve before it's actually in place. Preparation and all that. I'm going to shut the other side of the radiator off to be double safe, but I'm going to spray some WD-40 on it because it looks like it hasn't been turned since the dawn of time. Once you've given it 10 seconds to soak in, I'm going to shut that side off, and then I'm going to put the head back on because I don't want the pin to just open randomly. So put the head back on, close it off all the way, and now I'm going to slacken the nut off. Before you take the valve off completely, undo the bottom nut as well. Having the valve locked on the other one will help you undo this one. This one was quite stiff, to be honest. Because the paint's quite thick, I'm just going to break all the paint off underneath the nut to allow the nut to move up and down. Then I just use my waterproof bag to collect the water that's just dripping out the radiator. I'm going to use my spanner to twist the valve so it aims into the bag, and then just open it to take the rest of the pressure off. You'll expect a little bit of water and then it will just die down like that. And now you're safe to get that valve off. We're just going to screw the new valve on. You can change the nut and olive if you have to. The gas police will probably pop it in the comments that I should have changed the nut and the olive and the tail and the radiator and the carpet, and upgrade the cold main coming in and change the tanks to pressurised and all the other things they decide to comment. But we're all about trying to keep the cost down to the customer and make our time as efficient as possible. They need a new radiator valve. We've given them a new radiator valve in minimal time. You haven't drained the system, so you're not going to potentially be here for like 3 days trying to get the airlocks out. You don't have to concern yourself with putting extra inhibitor in because you haven't took the inhibitor out. So with all the nuts tightened up, I'm going to take that little cap off. You're going to open the head all the way to 5, makes it easier to push on, and then you're going to locate it, tighten it up with your fingers, and then I always give it a little pinch with some grips. Wipe off any excess water with some blue oil. Right, now that's all tidy. Going to open the other side of the radiator. I always pop some blue roll down, just so that'll alert me to any leaks. Then I'm going to venture off back into the loft. I'm going to take the speed fit cap end off. Then I'm going to take the bung out. Then we're going to reinstate that auto air vent by just peeling that off, and then put it back in the tub and save it for another day. Just make sure none's stuck in the hole. Then I'm going to vent the radiator until you get water, then you turn it off. Then I'm going to go downstairs, turn the boiler back on, fire it up for heating. Green light means go. Gonna go back upstairs, blue roll's bone dry, radiator's getting warm. Make sure that it operates on and off. That's another one done. Happy days.